Westside's hat. I like Westside's headwear as well. He always gives us nice hats. But looking like, I mean, the flickless KO, it's best in slot. Almost. Yeah. It's best in slot for them.
Best in slot. I've not seen a lot. And speaking about reading into the offseason, they played this composition. No surprises on the other side. I want to know what Biba is going to be locking here. Martin has already locked in that Yoru. He has been very vocal about wanting to expand his horizons a little bit more. But speaking about comfort and guaranteeing those first 2 wins, I understand why Yoru.
I see we're getting the sleeping pose from Martin. See that the biggest and greatest players are inspiring others. What do we think about this? You know, like waving, you know, like
the Aspas?
Yes, the Aspas. The Aspas special. I think Alpha has been doing this.
Yeah, I think he just doesn't have enough attention span to be listening to, like, you know, Boaster waffling.
Yes.
And it's going to be another Maripo. And of course, you guys remember, Bippo was saying how he was more excited to be reunited Martin than he was about joining Tier 1.
That's
so
crazy.
this Maripo double duelist synergy is really, really strong.
Yeah, and to me, that would not be complete without the one initiator that they're going to have with Zixstar. So speaking about him, Colin, and when we're mentioning the split that we saw a couple of days ago, Starks was an absolute star, bringing in the entirety of the confidence. But again, we need to re-mention and re-hit that operator. For GiantX, maybe a winning condition, but we've known and we've seen teams struggling not making it financially to that spot.
Is this our first KO? Have we seen? I've been here for so long, I feel like.
Maybe one.
Yeah, but it's not a lot of teams. Not a lot of teams are running it.
But you know, speaking about GiantX, I think it's something that I really enjoy in the EMEA kitchen, you know, where everyone is like overcooking, bringing new comps and stuff, to see, you know, normal comps, and I'm really gonna enjoy it.
I very much enjoy that, and I very much enjoy our next casters for this. Give a warm welcome to Mitchman and Tombiz.
Thank you very much, Insu. Yes, we'll be the ones shouting over this game. As I'm very excited to get into this one, Tom. We've already gotten to see Gentlemates deliver a stellar performance down on this stage. Yeah. And now it's time for GiantX, a squad that I don't think there's a person under the sun who wasn't underestimating this squad, the levels that they delivered at last year.
Well, yeah, even you look at like Grubinho as a pickup, like the squad he was on before didn't exactly light the world on fire, and then he came in and looked fantastic in this team. I think they've built a system of players that work well together. And I actually think so far that's what we've seen from Mates. My one caveat is they beat a FUT team who, I'll be honest, look like they're having an identity crisis. Yeah. So I'm looking at this game as like, okay, if Mates do well, if Mates win here, then I'm excited for what they're going to do for the year, and almost want to say I underestimated this team as a whole. But there's a long, long way to go before we get to that point, and I think we could get a very close game on our hands.
Well, let's hope so, Tom, because we've had our fair share of one-sided halves. Maybe this is where things can change for us. For Mates, on the attack. I mean, when we talk about this squad, I think it's hard not to address for the next couple of games we see them on. The fact that we have high expectations of Mini. He's been delivering throughout last season, IGLing, and now that weight is off his shoulders. Look at this deep play coming in from Grubinho! A triple to kick it off! And he has completely dismantled Mates' approach. They were trying to fake out on B. They even got a pick there. And then late hit into that A site. They found Grubinho all alone, or I suppose better than that, he found them. The spike, the smoke, and, well, this is going to be quite a difficult one for Starzo and Martin to get anywhere close to a recovery on.
Yeah, it's just brutal. Like, you're trying to sell a ruse, you get the opening pick on one side of the map, and then you walk into a single guy, and that guy takes you down. Both players going to try and make their way through the edge of this smoke. Of course, everybody other than Cloud, who's just currently watching for those rotations, is just locked in on that spike position, left, waiting, even with anti-flash ready in case there's a pot flash to come through. I'll tell you for free there isn't. There's a seize though, and that has brought them a little bit low. It won't matter. It's Groovy to finish things off as he started. A phenomenal pistol from him. It looks like he's already having to try and calm down his teammates. No, I'm not doing that all game. Come on.
That was a hell of a start. Like we said, you know, Martin grabbing one there. It leaves Grubinho alone, isolated. Look at the mini-map there. Closest player was towards double doors. And yet, this man stands his ground, taking scalp after scalp. My goodness. I want to hear the end of the sentence. Maybe what? A 1-0 for GX. A solid start indeed.
That's about as well as it gets. Of course, they are the squad, at least the squad that was playing here last year. You could say the same for BBL, and of when they get their team together, but they are the squad that has the same roster as last year. So I think for kickoff, expectations are relatively high. You don't have the same caveats that other teams are working with. Like, okay, we've got to work on synergy, etc., etc. This team made champions, so they've got to hit the ground running. They also managed to win Project Blender as well, so it's been a decent off-season for them. This round, a little bit of extra damage though. Not bad from Mates. Making this one costly. Of course, it is a 3v2 right now, but you look at the weaponry, and if they get anything more here, they'll be quite happy.
Last player standing.
Yeah, I think that was it. It was a good start. It was a good bit of damage and a lot of promise. Could have been another weapon on the floor, even if that Vandal was recovered. But for GX, 3 players alive to close out that round. That's about as good as it can be for Grabinho, though. A 4K to kick this off. He even started the map by saying, you know what, his previous teams, they didn't really make the waves that they needed to. He didn't have the impact. Well, look at him now. What a strong start. And he loves Spanish food as well. There you go.
He's on the right org for that.
Yeah.
Well, he was before as well, I guess. He has been on a couple of Spanish teams, so.
He's had his fair share of patatas bravas, I'm sure. Well, it doesn't quite compare to croquetas, but
I think you're about to be told that you pronounced both of those wrong, but we'll see.
I think it was spot on, to be honest, mate.
We'll ask the test.
Criticize my pronunciation of potatoes. Go on. Go ahead. Light that candle.
This is where the buy comes up for Mates, though. And with the vulnerabilities created in the last round, I do see Westside with the Sheriff, and honestly, I look at that as a 4-buy. The man that dominated the headshot percentage with a gun that only really known for headshots. Going to make sure there's no ruse to be had as he sits in the corner. Grabinho tries to continue his run of terror, and there is Westside with the pistol. I said it almost feels like a 4-buy when he has this gun in hand. Ran out of bullets, but he's got teammates to back him up. And while Mini got more than I thought he would. I thought he was dead to rights already.
Yeah, but a 3-0 start speaks for itself. GX got to be feeling good about how this game's kicking off. The fact is, you've got players stepping up to the mark, hitting those home runs, and it's good to see that not a lot has changed when it comes to Westside. The man really does live up to the we talked about him a lot last year.
1 HP flick, 140, nice! Come on, guys,
As a man
good
who,
job.
even when he's got that Sheriff in his hand, it's often better than the rifle. His headshot percentage, he was leading the league by double at one point going throughout the last stage. And now, well, he's showing he's still got it coming into 2026. A 3-0 start, pistols for Mates. The attack side certainly struggling to get any kind of leg up.
I think the good thing for GX was we did see them play this a little bit during the off-season. Played up against Team Liquid Academy, lost in relatively close fashion, but I'm sure that's given them the opportunity to sort of fix the smaller issues with the map. And I do wonder if that factored in for Mates picking it. So, okay, we actually got to watch them play this, but obviously a lot of teams have changed quite a bit. They haven't changed their comp. They are running exactly what they were doing in the off-season, but back on that stage, it's looking like a slightly different story.
There could be some good value coming here. The drone is about to see these players on shore, but Mates could overwhelm this site. That wall especially should get them in, but Flickless has dealt with a lot of that problem, thinning out the herd, and my goodness, he's doing a bit more damage through that smoke. Doesn't seem to be stopping his vision as GX. I suppose it looked like they were in danger for a moment, having lost mid-control, having Mates knocking on the door, but the enemy at the gates seemed to have been defeated.
30
and this
seconds left.
flash of pop is going to be closing out the round with ease. Very nicely done by Flickless. And an in-zone flawless round for GX just makes an already strong economic position that much more terrifying to face off against for Mates.
But that was one of the stories with this squad coming into it. It was hit by the desk as well. They're one of the few teams that were very, very heavily leaning into the double initiator a lot. I think we talked about each of their players like Cloud and Flickless is almost known for their initiator roles. And going into a meta where a lot of teams are moving into having double control, having double duelist, they've sort of opted to stick to their guns. And as of right now, it's working. We'll see if that at any point comes back to bite them. But you could see how comfortable players like Flickless are on that KO. So moving him away from it, it does almost feel like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, again. Sometimes you do just have to play to your pieces, not to the game plan someone else made up. For Mates, 0 on the board so far, rifles back in their hands.
That knife has just hit everyone. They were just about to execute it to the side. This is exactly what I'm talking about with the power of Flickless. He still, by the way, has his ult online. He just decided to throw the knife in, and I think he caught 4 of the 5 players, so they know that the other was the one lurking on the other side of the map. Mates have now had to completely reset what they're doing.
KJ Util still up in art as well, something that Mates have to deal with. Risk giving GX all that control. The fact is still 3 players stacked towards this side of the map. It's a heavy presence from that defensive side. GX may pay for that as B now comes under pressure. It puts it onto Ara, it puts it onto Cloud, and they're both playing in the elbow. So much control given up, but they're holding the choke points. Looking to make it costly as these guys come running in. Ara looking for information. He's heard a Cypher cam, but that could easily be the lurk. It's the players coming through the connector that he needs to spot, that he needs to drop, and he gets nothing! Cloud falling alongside him, and Mates, that's the strongest position they've had to play from so far.
Already both ultimates popped as well. It definitely seems like they're going for this. The Cosmic Divide attempting to make things a little bit more awkward, but it hasn't done anything of the sort. They're just playing more aggressive angles. Nice shot at least from Westside, but with the null command now dissipating and his teammate incredibly far away. It's looking like they're just going to try and hold them for the exits. They have the credits to play for, but for Mates, this is a much needed round.
Yes, a confidence builder too. I think when they went to that low buy, we saw Mates experiment with mid control. We saw them push down Art, play late through mid and around to the water. And note that no one's here. They're playing aggressive towards main. They're looking for that extremity control. They're giving it up there. Of course, against pistols is probably the way to go. But here again, exploring that territory early on, not commit themselves to extremity hits. It's paid off. They were able to completely overwhelm them, avoid the stack, and to be honest, not even pushing and pulling that much. I was kind of surprised to see Mates, or to see GX sticking around on that 3-man A-hold with KJ Util still covering so much of the map. But obviously they were expecting that Mates had a favorite site to go to.
The best thing about that as well is they baited out 2 ultimates. Like Cosmic Divide and Null Command came in, it didn't really do anything. It looked like it was an attempt to get in maybe a little bit earlier than when their teammates went down, but I think Mates will definitely take that now. They come in with a dimensional drift, which we already know that Martin's going to get far more information than most will. Using the constant gate crash to reposition. Nice stun. He's got a little gap in the corner, but Grubinho reacts fast enough. He doesn't react fast enough for Bibbo, though. There was a second layer to that attack. Even still, it's going to trade back to even.
Oh, the nade's doing a lot of damage. Glyph able to step out of there, but was putting down a star. That timing perfect for Flickless. Kills still need to be found for Mates to get that plant in. They're being choked out of that space. GX hold those angles from spawn. Mates are looking elsewhere. We've already seen stars. No contact. And towards the connector, just about surviving his Glyph. It's going to keep some utility online for the attempted retake coming in from GX, and maybe, well-placed Gravwell up against that off could change the game. Starzo, oh, he's given away his position, but that crossfire still intact! Oh, Ara sliding through like that to get one, but they were not going to let him get away with that.
Yeah, it does feel like it, as in many cases, Starzo was almost just using himself as bait, constantly like shooting off bullets just to try and give his teammates that additional play. Nice start from Grubinho. I honestly thought they were screwed by the setup. Like the Cosmic Divide with the gap left in it, it's a classic, but then to have the stun in front just to leave them with nowhere left to stand. But I like the second layer, like Bippo sliding through when they're both stunned up. There really was no survival chance. A wonderful set play from Mates to get themselves in. And now they have another couple of ultimates to play with.
Yeah, now they're back into the game, right? After a really shaky start. There was a lot of danger on the horizon, but they managed to stabilize. And again, we'll look towards this early play on mid. 125 on the clock as they're going to step into Art, and this space given up for free. Previously covered by Killjoy utility, but they're not hearing it. And as we can see, that's been shifted over to this B site. Question is, what do they do from here with 5 players in mid? Could be the full commit when they see there's no utility there, but they still have plenty of fallback options with the Cypher util covering their back.
Bit of space on towards this A site, but this is what we saw a lot from Mates. They'll make noise, they'll put pressure, they'll send their duelists in, and then they split back to the other side of the map. But I'm sure that's been studied by GX. They're not moving an inch. Still 2 players on this side. One of them currently trapped by the seas, but running through that smoke would have some serious risk about it. Because of that, they're now going back through that choke again, leading the way Bipper. He's done fantastically well. Doesn't go down, allows his teammates through the choke, and that's already 2 openers on what was a site that wasn't easy to break into from there.
It's the second time now we've seen mates, 4 players making it through the double door, 1 through long. This time a bit more disruption put in, playing much heavier towards Art, putting utility into the A site to really make GX think that it was going to be a play in that direction. And I think from their perspective, to drag people out of that angle in double doors or get them to be caught in mid-rotate as they push back into the space. Mates get through the door, get into the B site, and that's really where the problem is, because now 2 rounds they've won like that, sure, but we've also seen the setup on the B site change. We've seen the Killjoy be shifted over here now to try to back it up. I think it was an op in play for Ara before, or an Outlaw perhaps. It was Sniper anyways back in Hall that was immediately shut down. That's now sent to the other side of the map so that hopefully the shift over will make B that little bit easier to hold on to. And it didn't. Man, they got a little bit of damage onto Bippo, but my guy was able to slide in and decimate them.
But the interesting thing is, normally, even if you only have 2 players on this side of the map, making it out of that choke with no casualties is almost impossible.
It's very tough.
Doing it twice is insane. Like the fact that they've been able to get out onto that part of the map without really too much struggle, I have a feeling that GX are going to have to seriously look at that and just change up their crossfires.
Yeah. Well, I think that, again, this is the problem. They kind of did. They played back elbow last time. This time they go close, and Bimble comes swinging out the smoke on the slide, which is the worst thing that can happen when you're up close like that, breaking your ankles. Instead, it's going to be GX looking to fight for the mid control they've given up before, but it's Cloud dropped early. Mini inside the smoke, and Grabinho walks in. He waved his hand through the cage first, letting them know, courteous, granted. You won't get any extra points for that, mates. 5 versus 3, and it was this exact same situation, hell, almost to the second, that caused a save in the previous round. And I think it's just done it again. That's a 15-second round, man. Twice in a row. Well, I mean, last time there was a bit of faking and so on. But one fight, a one-fight round. Let's put it that way. This is, from how it started, similar to yesterday as well. Like the GX, they look so dominant, they look solid. A couple of blows traded back and forth. Not quite as dominant as yesterday's game, but mates have really found another gear to take it to very early on. Got to give them props for that. And I think we saw that starting in the low buy round that they had, the eco, where they started to explore this area around mid. Since they've started to play with this control, GX have had no response.
Well, yeah, that's been the funny thing. A lot of the time, you do see a lot of success, especially on B, by teams going through long, taking that long control, going for those firefights. They've not done that. It's all been about mid-control and playing with those rotations. I feel like from Grabinho's perspective here, it was very much like, I'm going to be revealed, I'm going to try something risky. The gun barrel definitely completely screwed him over. It's unfortunate, but yeah, 4-4. Massive response already from mates, and as said, like they're a team that you sort of come into this year with a lot of pieces you don't necessarily know how effective they're going to be. Like Starzo coming in as an IGL, Bippo for the first time coming up to the tier 1 from Mouse, who didn't even make it to Ascension. Many thought they should have done, but they didn't. And then like obviously Martine coming over, Glyph coming over. Like this has been a huge sort of like project to be put together. I think they've got some fantastic coaching staff alongside them as well, but the fact that they don't seem phased by like, okay, we've gone 4-0 down against a team that made champs, immediately they're still trying to execute plans, they're still trying to swap things up, they're still trying to go for control and take risks and take fights, and that's the thing that I've really enjoyed about this squad so far, even though we are so early into kickoff.
Yeah. And I mean, the fact is, we're back to level 4-4. But it's GX who don't have that momentum. The wind's not in their sails. Mates have come up with solutions to the problems that they were facing, and now it's GX's turn. But what is, again, the concern, the flag on the play? We've seen GX 3 different attempts. It was the B-side hold number 2 with the Killjoy swap up, and now this aggression towards Art, the part of the map that mates have gotten for free at the start that they have been contacting into, and I think last round was where GX made that learning, or the round before, right? Applied it to the last one. And none of those approaches have worked. No. You know, everything they've tried has been met with the exact, almost mirror result. So here's where things have to change, right? 4 in a row to mates. Coming into round number 9, that op on Ara finds itself once again on the wrong side of the map. And this guy has had no look in those early fights. They're avoiding him like they can see the goddamn mini-map.
Oh yeah, and after all of that presence put into mid over the last few rounds, after the pause, what do? Direct A hit, change up again, but this is where they're running in a little bit more trouble. Westside's done well, got a kill and got out, kept the man advantage in their favor, but Flickless goes pushing through the smoke. Doesn't have any clue that a player was already waiting for him. Lockdown into play, they're gonna try and put the pressure on. Decent trade from Glyph, leaves it even once again. They are going to have to continue to push forward, though, just to get out of range, and that they will. Sees just misses. Allows Westside that extra little piece of space. In fact, he's not waiting. He's going pushing a chance for a timing. In fact, both players with opportunities here, but it's Starzo to pounce, leaving just Westside. He finds that first into the 1v1. And Glyph's position, well, he knows roughly where he is because of that earlier lockdown. He knows where he would have been forced to, and he can correct just in time. It's a long break from the scoreboard, but Westside does enough.
Sheriffs and Guardians, I don't want to see him with anything else. He just has to tap a Red Bull clutch for Westside, and GX find their 5th, breaking the streak of Gentlemates at long last. And I understand, right? It might seem a little silly. The whole conversation is, oh, but look, their mid control's working. Their opponents don't have an answer to mid control. What do? Not take mid control. But the idea there is they've just called a timeout. The problem's being mid. They're going to do something on mid. They're going to put resources there. It was just putting the full kill throw utility and playing on those angles. It wasn't a big mid crunch or anything that left the site weaker. But I understand why they went for that idea.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see it going again, though.
They also lost it at 1v2, so I guess they're also just thinking like,
could have easily won.
Probably should have won that round.
Yeah, 100%. I like the change up though. I like that they didn't just go, well, it's working, let's keep doing it.
Yeah.
Expected the adjustment on the other side.
Oh. Early orb control. Now we know with mates that this doesn't necessarily mean a hit, and well, yeah, you've caught Yoru twice. Might give the game away that maybe there was somebody else elsewhere, but either way, they know that the majority were still on that side. Ara's once again taken the control. He wasn't spotted in the last round, so why not? You can do the same again. Put him in an aggressive position with an operator. You don't need, like, there's literally no utility on B. He is the utility. It's just how much he can find from this.
Well, the 3 rounds in a row that they had this op previously, playing aggressive. They didn't get to fire a shot before the round was lost. Well, at least he got one out.
Oh, no.
Oh, just about gets out himself, but he's being chased down. Pippo on the other side will take that backside control, block off the op angle, and Ara is completely surrounded.
Sonic versus
Little does
Shadow.
he know, as Mini watches that mid walk up Westside, now down, puts pressure onto Ara. He's surrounded and shut down. Mates extinguishing that flame of hope that GX lit just a round to go. It's 5-5. Well, it's unavoidable at this stage. The only question is, can Grabinho carry that weapon forward? Or will Mates track him down?
There's not really anywhere to go. Maybe he catches Mini. That would give him at least a little bit of space. He's being chased from behind. I don't think 3 players are going to go through the tiny gap. Oh, he's just going to try and walk back into a corner. Starzo is still hunting him. Has joined him with the silent steps. Is he going to check the angle? He is, but not quite properly. That might give a chance to escape, but no, Bippo's hot on his heels as well. 5-5. Mates equalize, but that one wasn't a particularly close round. It was over in seconds. That's a nasty shot.
Very nicely done. Yeah, you feel for Ara here, a player that, you know, you look at the scoreboard now, oh, he's 3-6, man. What's it, bro? He's had no chance. He's had that sniper for early fights. He's been sent to A, they go B. He's been sent to B, they go mid to A. He did go to B twice in a row, and they went to A twice in a row. He can't make his mind up, and finally he gets to that B site. They come his way. Utility pushes him back. He gets chased down by a Yoru, chased down by a Neon, and surrounded, pushed from all sides. It's an unfortunate story for Ara, and one that isn't going to get better here. Obviously, this round is already gone in favor of Mates, short of a miracle play. GX invest pretty much nothing. I did just now spot the West Side has got his sheriff, so maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe there's hope.
Yeah, this round might be very far from over.
They are going the other way. Something that I did really enjoy, I'll say, yesterday was one of the founders of Mates, after it was the amazing performance of Mini, posted, I think it was a gif of him in jail, saying that he's trapped. He's not going anywhere. Because to be honest, after the performance he had, you can't really blame him. The 20-year-old who really is fantastic. A little bit of the new gun for Flipless. We can see if he can hit some headies. And while your man is now on the scene, it's a nice first one for Westside. Needs more though. Martin is just a little bit too fast from 4-0 down to at least 6.5. Mates have had an incredible recovery.
It's funny how biased I am towards Westside, where I see him on that last fight with yours, swing out, shoot a shot. I see him dodge, and I just assume it's the other guy. I'm like, oh, we got another one, yep. I saw him shoot.
You almost like, you almost sit there and go, you're a little bit like, come on, Westside, you should have hit that.
No, come on. Like, I've seen you win those before. Not this time.
Our standards for Westside are a little bit too high. Just a little bit.
6-5. This is it for GX. They gave up that last round. They gave the lead to Mates. They knew what they were doing. This is where they saved up their credits for one last stand. 100's Fury online, Cosmic Divide, but Flickless is drawing my eye just one away from his own ulti. That null command could have its value, but what I really want to see is finally on this defensive side, Ara having an opportunity. He's been pushed back by utility. He's been completely avoided like the plague, and now he's caught on the way out. The wall's his biggest enemy. He's really not having a good half, and to no fault of his own, but a good trade back by Cloud.
Gives at least an opportunity. Smoke down, but I like this. What, the ult to force them back, and then an ult to make it a little bit more awkward to try and stop them getting that plant. Maybe an opportunity for some spams. There is even a shock dart going through, but in fact, Flickless has been ball back by the guy he was spamming, by the way. Glyph was just going for the plant. Grabinho's got back in, but the trade is immediate. Fundamentals looking good once again. And this leaves just 2 to stand. One of them is Westside. The other is Cloud, and while Westside's all but left, Mates, they'll take themselves the half in the end, and while their attack looks stellar.
Yeah, building on the foundations of a strong debut here, Gentlemates looking like a big competitor in the EMEA, at least in the first few days, in the first half, because we've got more coming your way after this. Let's see if Mates can keep up this momentum in half number 2.
Enemy remains.
Nice!
Your body knows, a sense of victory, seized when mind, movement, and gear ignite as one. Now, step into your zone, designed to win.
People saw the potential in us, and we are not considered underdogs. Maybe before they were playing against us, they were thinking like, yeah, look, they are underdogs, they're not gonna do good, they're not gonna have confidence to play on stage. But we proved them wrong. And this year, I think my coach said, Pipson, he said we have to like play very different because we're not considered underdogs, and maybe Timos will change the whole play style. I'm not feeling any pressure because what was hard, it already went away, like my first season. That's where the pressure was. But I didn't have pressure in the first season, but just a bit because it was my first time. But right now, I'm used to play on stage. I'm used to it everything, so I don't feel any pressure. I learned like the basic stuff about being on stage, how to deal with pressure and stuff. Cloud told me some things as well, and yeah, Cloud being the veteran, so that's why. We already formed the synergy, and we didn't feel like having to do a change. Like, why would we break something that works? We did good. The off-season came, and we just got, with this off-season, more time to experience new stuff, see how we perform on different stuff, to find like our true faces, you know? And yeah, I think this is a big advantage for us. I mean, Foods, they look like they have 2 new rookies, as I saw from their academy team. Only one from academy, other I don't know where. But they're looking a solid team, I would say. They are a good team. I don't know what much to say about Gentlemates, because they have also like 1 rookie, if I'm not wrong, and 1 guy from NA, I think Glyph. I mean, since I know Giants always lost to Foot, including me when I played, so I think Foot will be tougher, because Giants always lost to Foot somehow.
Well, it's time to jump back into this 7-5. You've just heard from Ara.
They did lose the foot.
And he's talked a lot about confidence, and I think that's going to be a big thing for him. That first half, as we said, you know, I felt like he missed the other team just by a coin flip in half the rounds. Was really locked out of having impact.
Even when he was there, you saw it in the last round, he was wrecked by utility. I think Glyph especially, the stuns he was throwing out alongside Bippo just made things so awkward for that operator. Of course, as you can see, slightly more attack-sided, but I don't know if that's going to help GX out too much. What will help them out? The pistol round.
Oh, that certainly would be a feather in the cap for GX. Movement towards this B site. Mid left wide open by Mates. Puts that pressure right onto the shoulders of this B hold. Mini, he's up close. There's a lot of smokes from the back out at least, but the site will be taken by the looks of things. Maybe forced into the retake here, Gentlemates, very early on. Couple spams or hoping to punish over extensions is pretty much the best they can hope for now.
4 players in the back line of the site. One trying to cross over. It's a gamble from Cloud. You got to know there's quite a few players around that angle. Gravino passive, but he's fallen. Flickless has now been spotted, but quick trades back, leaving it to Martin and Glyph to try and save it, and that's what they'll do. Glyph has had an incredible series or map so far, currently topping the statistics, and while putting them that pistol that's going to set them a little bit out of reach, at least for now.
Oh yeah, he's definitely stepped up coming into today. For Gentlemates, well, I mean, this is what we were saying, right? For GX, the pistol, it brings them back neck and neck. It puts, well, you know, should be able to get the anti-eco under your belt. It would have given them a great position to play from, but now they'll watch Mates steam further into the lead, forced down to Classics themselves. I'm curious to see, because obviously at the start of that round, we saw Mates 3-stack towards that A site. No mid-control taken whatsoever, none fought for, which even in a pistol you'll usually see something. But very much playing on the sides. And it worked out well with the retake that they go for. No one got isolated. But that's not going to be a facet of every round. They will be going for these mid-fights. When they do, will GX be there to meet them? The team that didn't seem to really put a lot of stock into holding them on their defense.
He's only got one more of those, then he has to retreat. Early orb taken. Gravino then just left behind, just in case anybody goes walkabouts, which they are going walkabouts. Oh, this is dangerous for Martin. That's also not a gun you really want to be giving over. The chance to insta-kill a couple of players on the other side, but it doesn't get greedy. Doesn't go too far. The rest of the team are really trying to sell the idea of the other side of the map. I do wonder if they will eventually try and split back towards A. It does look like they're going to try and group up. But that's so much damage done. Even though it's a couple of kills for Starzo, 2 of the players are desperately low.
Yeah, I mean, Flickless and Westside sharing 80 HP, but Gravino's spawn! It's perfect! He's got them a double! Weapons to be recovered, a site taken Glyph. That man's on 25 HP, so yes, Flickless, sorry, 25 shields, I should say. The important thing is, it might as well be 1 health up against Flickless. He just needs that body shot. In fact, I might almost favor Flickless in the fight. Playing deep inside main, 1 on site, and
such
1
a rat.
tucked in this corner! Gravino's done it again! A thrifty, poor GX. I don't know how they've gotten away with that.
That might be some of the best positioning and timing I've ever seen. Like, he played perfectly off of his teammates. He needed them to overwhelm that 1 player, and then he repositions back into mid again with the Spectre he found earlier. That is as good of a play as you're ever going to get. And well, we spoke about the almost guarantee that you get from a second round. Well, a guy coming in with a classic and ended up with 4 kills, that doesn't happen very often.
Tactical genius over on GX, whoever called that. Well, I'm not sure what this strategy is from Mates. I think I know.
Is it the have a chat strat?
It's the. I hope it's the opposite of that. I think it's the tank polish strat, where we don't have a chat. We do the exact opposite. Either that, or there's a very new take on map control that I haven't quite figured out yet. But we'll work on that.
I don't know. Starzo looks locked in. I wonder if they're just waiting for where the knife goes.
It's actually, we're actually playing a strat.
I think what it is they're waiting to see where does the knife go, and then they're going there to stat.
I've actually never seen a round that I assumed was a tech pause that was actually live. But fair enough. They fooled even me. I've got X-ray.
And honestly, where the drone's going, where the spike's going, they are correct. Like, they are all waiting on the right side of the map. This dart needs to connect on a couple of people. It got 1, almost something coming in, but this is where they walk into the rest of them. Not a lot of weapons to play with. Well, they are now starting to fall like flies. 30 seconds left. Mini's the first, and actually he gets a couple. Now Martin chimes in as well. They've given Bippo a chance, but he'd need to get something over the top of this already. Both players tagged low enough that this Mates Classic might just get them the value that they need. Timing here is going to be absolutely everything. Trying to get into position, and they just about get it over the line. I like the idea in the end from Mates. It's one that, when you look at it at the beginning of the round, looks silly, but it almost worked.
Looks silly. If I was QC, I'm already pausing the map, just looking at them all freezing like that. It's a crazy play, but I like it. Yeah, just wait for the utility. Oh, they put a knife, they flashed, they've done whatever. Let's all go stack there. And worst case scenario, they fake this and we all go down the spike. Who cares? But best case scenario, you completely catch them off guard. Well done, well handled. 8-7. And it's also just to say, it's not a normal gamble stack, right? Where at the start of the round you just flip a coin. It's a bit of an informed
But also,
stack.
when your opponent has a knife and a dart,
they're gonna give it away.
Stacking somewhere is silly.
Yes,
so it's like
they
they literally were like, okay, well, if Starzo gets hit by the knife, it really doesn't matter. And once it's gone, it takes so long to come back now that the chance of us being hit by it again is actually quite slim.
And if they've done it and seen only one,
yeah,
good chance they go there. It's a worthwhile gamble. Really, really nice to see. Just making the best of those really bad situations, those low buys. 8-7 for Mates. Such a close game. Oh, you never know what margin's going to decide it. That spray looks shaky. The west side's gone down. Spams through the smoke. Good to start this one out. The Cosmic Divide, though, does get GX onto site. And to start a plant, it seems. The Nightfall's gone through on the other side. Spike now planted. What's the reaction? They've cleared out elbow. They know there's a player holding up close there. Instead, it'll be towards the side where Starzo, Bippo, Martin. Oh! Find themselves kills! A sea of blue in the kill feed. And Mates have found themselves in 9th. That was a blink and you miss it retake. The Cosmic Divide went down, and so did every player on GX.
But like that was timed to perfection from Martin. Beautiful. Like the second that looks to drop, he throws a flash that it goes off, and then the wall disappears. Like, look how blind the player in the corner is. There's nothing you can do there. You're like, well, the Cosmic Divide is there. I'm safe. Oh, I'm blind. Oh, I died.
Cosmic Divide's not there anymore.
And also, I'll say, I think Starzo, the one player that he didn't hit with a Nightfall, he hit with a Seas. Like, just at point, there was nobody that they didn't know where they were. That's just solid utility from the side of Mates.
It's a pretty good investment. Damn good deal. 9-7. Looking for 10 here on Mates. Hunter's Fury fired through right away, though. Bippo's going to go down. Oh, and almost an extra tag there. Starzo going to keep breathing on full HP. But his Mates have lost one early on. You see this mass exodus of the B site. I'm not sure exactly where that cam is, but I'm assuming it can see B long. It's a pretty safe assumption, I'd imagine. And yes, thank you very much. And so because the cam can see B long, they can full stack this A site, play forward there. Unfortunately, now I think they're going to be left with the second part of that strategy, which,
although they'll
is
see drone
a retake.
And then do they start running now? Yeah, Mini start running, but it is too little, too late. Like maybe the first trip will at least slow them a little bit. But they will have the site.
I don't know. I doubt we go near a save unless we lose a few players. And Mini's attempt to slip his way into elbow hasn't gone their way. Now a 5v3 post-plant. That's not looking quite as worth the risk as it was in a 4v5 pre-plant. So yeah, it's going to be Mates calling to carry those weapons forward to the next round. I think, to be honest, like in the 4v5, I think there's a very slim chance that they would go for it. But you're always like, oh, I can maybe go in and get one.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Second that doesn't go your way, it's like,
with the amount of credits they have, you can kind of go like, if we lose one more gun, we can still comfortably rebuy. It's not the end of the world. You lose a couple more, and it's like, okay, this isn't worth it anymore. So I think that was the right sort of idea. Like Mini was basically just trying to catch one on the cross as they went in. But again, I think both teams have been very good, especially with that A site counter util. I think we've seen the same stuns going out from Neon that basically just makes it so that if you run up there, you're screwed. And that's exactly what they did with the Hunter's Fury. They just went, if there's someone there, which you could kind of hear Neon running at the beginning of the round, insta pop, he can't run away. That's an easy free kill for the start. So we've seen that from both sides, constantly dealing with that pressure and getting a lot of control for it, because when you don't have that A control, you can't just rotate. You can't just gamble. You need to keep players on that side of the map. And that allowed for a very easy take of the B site for GX.
Still seeking that double digit for Gentle Mates. It's evaded them in the previous, but a buy round comes in yet again. Credits, though, starting to wane. The bank's running dry. The vault's looking empty. Mates,
look how slow they were to walk up.
To go up in A-main.
They waited the first 5 seconds in case there was a stun from Ara.
Much slower, but GX also waited. They played behind the box. They've allowed that Prowler to go deep into A-main and see absolutely nothing. Now, the only downside is they're not making noise on B. They're not seeing the camera and breaking it, robbing them of information. They're not making mates panic. So even though mates now think, okay, A-main is clear, they're maybe fighting for mid, they're about to come into art, they're not focused on the angle where GX are coming from, but they still have players here. They'll be able to pounce pretty quickly. You already see the first go their way. Oh, Ara, he's got one, but there's nothing else for GX until Cloud pipes up.
Yeah, the problem is the HP, I guess. Ara was already marked, and they're just waiting the full squad to get into position. Cloud Core with his pants down, and while good luck Ara is about to be revealed, there is no escape from that one. Bippo with 3, but again, like watching this game has been genuinely enjoyable. I think both teams are almost playing that chess game. Like the counter marks to everybody else, that was an early piece of aggression from mates falling back, and then just a really solid reveal coming out from Starza. It just made it so easy for some of those initial kills to come through for his team, and then they just play up the advantages, consistently trading. When they get far enough ahead, they fall back, just sit passively, and then wait for them to go and plant. Because once they plant, you know where one of them is, and it makes it a lot easier for them. It's just smart VALORANT.
Well, double digits finally found. A few seconds left on the clock. You can see GX maybe looking for a bit more of a direct round. Utility being set up towards B long. 3 players there ready to swing around, pull back the smoke, get Ara into position. Challenge Martin early on. No one's pulled back the smoke. Makes me a little nervous. The knife's gone down.
No, he escaped first.
Yeah, he managed to get out with the gate crash. He needed to. Otherwise, he would have been dead for sure. Good flash. Oh, Bippo past the stun, but only good for 1.
Oh, Martin's just been digged through the wall as well. 35 health. Of course, he's cool and collected. Didn't even react to it.
My eyes are down.
This has sent GX back in the other direction. They knew that Yara was there at least, and now the reaggress comes through from mates, but with spotting nothing, they will have a decent idea that it's no longer this B site. Immediately, Martin starts his rotation back in the other direction. They're a little bit wary of how much control of mid they've let go. The possibility of a flank high, and because of this, it's left Glyph somewhat alone, but his teammates are close by.
Oh, they haven't spotted Glyph either. Yeah, he's managed to find himself a little nest on that side, but they faded him out of the smoke. They suspected he was playing sneaky, and with Martin down as well, a hero has to step up. Starzo's the one to put Cloud in the ground, bring this back to a 2v3, but as he falls, Mini all alone. He's got the entirety of GX to face off against, and they might have heard a step before, but they certainly know he's there now. Suppressed and swinging into Ara. They're swinging into him right after. GX, 9 on the board, and this close game that, well, was teed up by you to start the day out, Tom. You said you think we might have one on our hands. Well, we certainly do.
It's just nice to watch teams with that utility. Like, think about how they lost the last one. It was a reveal coming over the top, and somebody sat close, spamming through the smokes. So they immediately send a dart into the back of the site so that anybody there is trying to avoid it rather than spamming them. And then they throw the nade into the smoke so anybody there can't spam them through it. Like, it is just them reacting to other things that their opponents have been doing and making sure that that's a lot harder to do. Of course, they also took away a lot of the utility with the null command as well. So this puts the economy down to mates. They are somewhat saving here. It's a half buy to get them into the next round. A couple of ults to play with. The main one is that overdrive from Bippo. Although Ara has it on the other side, but he also has a gun to play with. For GX, 2 away from some very high impact ults. All right, getting that lockdown online will almost gift them a sight, and then the Hunter's Fury is perfect for the take. But they are doing this again.
It's so unsettling to watch, Tom. It makes it floods my body with anxiety.
We're traumatized from the stage going red.
I genuinely, I see one LED turn red while they're standing there. I freak out, but we're good. And they've made the right call again. They've gotten to the B site ahead of the curve, thanks to sitting in spawn, waiting for that information, but it's fallen into their hands. Unfortunately, the kills most certainly have not. Mini's gone under the radar, able to find at least one up close, suspecting a wide swing out, but no shots land. And Starzo now has it all to do. A low HP Ara, but he has no info. Only knows a player planted up close, but by now they could have slipped back to long. Nice shot from Starzo to start this out. Dancing around that spammable wall, but when he goes out wide, they are there waiting to greet him. GX 10 on the board. A tie game yet again, but we are getting closer to the final hour.
And then so far on this attack side, it's definitely looked a little bit more like it's in GX's favor. Only singular rounds coming up from mates, and they need to buck that trend fairly quickly. They do have a couple of ults coming into this round, which could turn that tide. I'm looking at Martin and his dimensional drift, but already a tactical break called, an opportunity for the coaching staff to check in, for Pipson to maybe say anything that he spotted, but more importantly, for Paco and Kundi to sort of give this is the fix. This is how we can change things, and they're doing it when they come in with a buy, which makes the most sense.
This is, for mates, I think, looking back at I'm so used to it being a 1 week, one game, 1 week. I'm like, looking back at last week, yesterday or the day before, you know, there was a lot of positives for them, and I think that a lot of those have carried through to today. We saw the highlight from Mini not long ago, and today feels like more of a well-rounded performance, though. I like what I'm seeing from Bippo as well. I think in a lot of these angles on the attack side and going out and taking that space, he was certainly not afraid to put his body on the line for the squad.
Yes, this should do.
But over on GX,
that goes there.
The expectations are very high, and I think with the power level mates brought in, the assumed power level after the first day, it's going about as I expected.
Yeah, it is always difficult. Like when a team has played earlier in the week, they sort of, even though it's the same stage for GX, you get kind of like warmed up into the week, get back into like, okay, we had our mistakes and blips early on, and for GX, it wouldn't be crazy surprising if they came in a little bit cold, but it doesn't look that way. Like Grabinho especially has been phenomenal. Flickless has definitely had his moments, and I guess what has made this such a back and forth and enjoyable map so far. Once again, early control garnered by mates, taking deep pressure on B, and that allows them to gamble an extra player towards this A site, which is where the hit is coming.
You should run.
Nightfall goes in, 3 players spotted, but what do you do against that lockdown? Bippo has an idea. He's getting aggressive. He's going to try to catch them coming out. Might even end up getting detained. He's going to sprint. Just about get caught. Now the Hunter's Fury chases him down. He overstayed his welcome and paid the price for it. Now look who's up close. Ara, a tough game for him so far. But now on the attack, he can make his own. Look, that flash caught him clean. And now he's being spotted, sprinting, fleeing the site, moving back towards main, towards default at least, as the Cosmic Divide gives them an angle. Ara goes down. Martin and Starzo have more. So much more to offer as GX crumble. Player after player falls, and Cloud, with the Hunter's Fury already committed, a Cosmic Divide blocking him off, there's nothing that he can do but run and save that weapon. The defuse guaranteed, and the lead, it's there for mates.
See, it's funny. I remember back in the day, I think it was one of the first times I saw someone create a gap with the Cosmic Divide. And I think it was Guilt. It was on Haven. That was the one that I remember. And I think it was Draken who TP'd into the back, and I was like, that's so cool. So they tried to do it the next week, and they got absolutely owned. The thing I like about this from Martin is he checks if there's someone in the gap, and he goes, okay, I'll stand outside and jump into it. You're not going to be ready for me with a shorty, and you're in a close angle because of where I put you. It's a small adaptation to the same idea where he still gets the benefit. That's clever.
It is cerebral play that puts you ahead. 11 for mates. The home stretch not far away, but GX still have money to buy. Even if they lose this one, the credits will be there for the attackers. So there's no easy task for the defense. Now, GX seem to be moving towards this mid-control again, and we can see it's wide open. This flash doesn't even need to go through it. All it's going to do is blind the camera. That's much deeper down. They make that read. Drone's going to be committed. That little bit of utility is going to be kept for later in the round, and honestly, that little bit of patience could come back to pay its weight in gold. That timing is terrible for Starzo. He just cleared this. He thinks he's got a couple seconds at least, but okay, at least the knife will give it away, and he won't be completely blindsided.
Still got to be a little bit careful of the spawn, but it seems like Starzo are aware of that as well. Ara's just waiting in case anybody tries to flank them. The danger is just how aggressive the players on Mates have been. They've taken so much control, and it will come down to Grabinho's timing, which thus far has been perfect, but they are very aware that he could come from this angle.
Take this!
Oh, Bib. Oh, he'll get two. Okay, that stabilizes. That gives him a chance. And with Ara down, 3v3, walking into the spawn like that, it's an audacious play. GX, big fans of Scooby-Doo. They split up and they don't find a clue between them. It's 12-10. 2 chances now for Mates to close this map out.
Yeah, I don't mind the initial idea of like pushing the players. Like you had Grabinho waiting and then they try and pincer in. I don't think they expected Bibbo to get 2 here. And that's what kind of throws it into turmoil. I think if we're talking about Grabinho as the master of timing, I think Ara's timing is utterly cursed. I think there was about 4 or 5 times he could have gone through that gap and he got unlucky that it was the second the guy comes the other way. Like Mini was about to duck into him. He waited there, what, 40 seconds?
This is just going to be for the orb, right? It's not full control over A main being solved for. Not an early, quick exec. So I was getting a little worried there. The pace was going to be hastened, although we do end up in a standoff. Utility Prowler's caught one deep inside A main. It's going to get some rotates, you'd imagine, especially with that Cypher util towards B.
And of course,
it's actually Mini coming over.
I have noticed throughout the game, like Starzo at times, like you saw at A-Lig last round, he's been a bit more hesitant. That util runs out, or it feels like it runs out a lot quicker, especially when you're that only initiator on your side. So
take flight.
That Prowler definitely found its value, but they are still committed to this side of the map. It seems though that Mates are happy to sit back and almost wait, maybe try and avoid the knife that will inevitably be coming soon. But they're actually gambling back on the other direction, going back towards the B site. It's 2 of them. It does leave 2 to try and defend.
Oh, Glyph, he must have been seen. I think Ara was inside the smoke. Maybe caught a shoelace poking through, but it's enough. The plant found at least for GX as Mini spams back. Starzo with another. They know the Cloud is trapped up close. He's dropped and it's not even gonna hang on for a moment of suspense. Gentlemates, they take this one across the line. Some good rounds towards the end there as well to put 13-10 on the board, keeping up and carrying on their momentum from their foot match.
Yeah, the brand new squad facing off against a champions team of last year, but it doesn't really look like there's a difference in caliber whatsoever. And after a slow start, coming back in the manner in which they did, that's a great way to kick off this series. But I think, Mitch, this might be far from over. So we'll come back for map number 2 after the break.